try and finish this, so let's see if I can actually make good on that promise. Okay, let's put the desktop over the camera. No, let's do it the other way around. Show off my nice wonderful hands. Unpack everything as usual. Managed to clean up my normal streaming desk earlier today a bit. Still not ready for prime time yet, but looking a lot better. So we're going to need the plastic sprues for this one. No, actually I think most of these parts are in a bag. We're definitely going to need you. And we've got electronics, but I don't think I'll be using a lot of these ones. Simply because I have my own motors and servos and other bits. Let's chuck those plastic bags out. Now, funnily enough, when I was cleaning up, I just ended most of the space saving I got was actually just by throwing out plastic bags. It turns out I had more than one garbage bag full of just smaller plastic bags. Grab that. So now we not want the wheel knuckles. Not sure what they're attached to or where they are. Those look like M24s, which I'm going to grab anyway because they're handy in general. And what else do we have? We've got the adjustable back plate, which I think we're probably going to get up to today. Well, I mean, if we're going to try and finish this, of course we're going to get up to that. So it's not that sprue, not that sprue, not that sprue. Doesn't look like that one either. What am I even looking for? This one? Maybe? Yes, that's the sprue I need. Part is deceptively small and tiny. So now I just need the ball heads. And I think we can get started. Oh, and I've got them right there. Sweet. Put you out of the way. Okay, put you out of your misery. Didn't realise these were the swing arms, turnbuckles. I'm not in the mood to remember. It's been a long day. So let's kick back and relax. Now if we're lucky they've got a hex bit on the end there. And they don't, they're just clamped on either side. So we are going to need green pliers. Which are, where are my green pliers? Green pliers are not with the bike. Got the tweezers there. Even after I left myself a note to be prepared for before coming on stream, it looks like I didn't even take my own advice. We'll work something out on the way. So this step needs balls, and a lot of them. 3 of those. Another 3. Awesome. Now if I'm lucky, this bit here fits these ball heads. If I'm not, and I'm not, let's hope we can get through this quickly. I think I put these ones to the side, which is a good sign. That'll do. Cool, so let's look at how this goes together. It's going to be one of those fiddly things that's hard to see on camera as well. So I'm going to actually start with the arm and the ball head that goes into that, just so I've got some more room to, or more leverage on the plastic parts. I'll indicate that on screen now, I think. So we're going to start off with this one here. And it just gives me something else to grip onto, because this plastic part is actually very, very small. That's the wrong head. Such is life. Let's clean up that one. Clean up that one. No, not that one either. Looks like a good candidate. Ah, perfect. Okay, now that we've narrowed it down to a couple of screw heads, this should go much, much, much quicker. And that's going in nicely. Now I did notice that when I put one of these ball heads in earlier, it just kept on rotating in place but didn't come back out. So I must have stripped the plastic in such a way that it was retained but not but loose. Kind of glad today's over. Nice relaxing day with a nice long bike ride, but wow, does that take a lot out of me. Okay, let's screw this in. So I'll be capping this stream to about an hour. We're 5 minutes in at the moment, and I don't see any reason to go longer than that. I think with any luck, we should be in a good place after that amount of time has gone by. While that's occurring, I'm just keeping an eye out to see if I can spot the my green pliers. Otherwise, I might need to go grab another pair. It doesn't want to go in. Okay, let's twist that in. That's good. You can see all three ball heads in that now. If you can't see it, it might be because you're on a mobile device, and unfortunately these streams are optimized for laptops. Interestingly, looking at my stats, mobile devices do seem to be the majority of the people coming to this channel, so don't know how I want to rectify that. There's not a lot of good solutions in that space. You get a much less rich setup with mobile devices, and I have to focus on the one thing, and that means more post-processing. And I don't really have a lot of time to do that. I could, I suppose, but at the moment it's just more time than I want to dedicate to this. Which is bad in a way. Maybe I need to look at my production values again and boost them up once again. It's definitely worth every couple of months revisiting the stream and what I'm doing and seeing if there's a way to improve it. So I've updated the mic, the camera, OBS with the overlays, tweaked a lot of things over the course of this channel's lifetime. Just constantly trying to make it better. Okay, so let's have a look at this end piece again. Really is flat on only two sides. Wow. I need like a mini wrench, but I don't think they exist in the size I need, or that I have one. Although, maybe I am incredibly lucky today. No, that's not what I want. Okay, let's look for pliers. I don't have my backup pliers handy. I do have my large pliers, but they're currently actually holding the webcam in place. Turns out they're heavy. Turns out that's very, very useful for holding camera down. Okay, so I'm going to try and get this straight when I've threaded in. It's not super difficult to thread in by hand, but it will be when I get closer to fully tightening it up. Now I also wonder if these are directional or if they both go in the same direction. If they go in the... In fact, I can check the threads. The reason that's important is you want to have them bite into the plastic so that as the wheel is spinning it tightens everything. So that there's only one direction. So it means one will get tighter and one will potentially get looser. I don't know if that'll be an issue in practice. Okay, that's going in. I cannot cheat and do that. In fact, I've got these other... let's try this first. Sides are a bit more parallel. Seems to be going in pretty well. Although now that I say it, does look like it's veered off the angle. So I'll back that out and correct that. Luckily it hadn't gone in too far, so it was easy to correct, but yeah, that's going to be difficult. You really need, like, if that had a hex end, then you could take the Mini Z wheel tightener, put it over the top and screw it in. And I have seen that before and it works really, really, really well. So it's kind of surprising they haven't done it, but from a manufacturing point of view, doing it, just making two sides flat is a lot easier. There we go, it was in with my bike stuff, which bike's working, by the way. Probably can't see it, it's just over there. You can probably see the bottom part of it. Still waiting on some parts, but very, very happy with that build. Super, super nice bike. Folds down to the size of a suitcase. For those who are wondering what I'm talking about, search my channel for Brompton. I've got a video of the old build of it. Very, very nice bike. And it's now, rather than being a mix of grey, red and black, it's now completely black and with red highlights, which took a lot of effort to do. But I'm very, very happy with the results. Okay, that's straight, yep. This is not nearly as easy as it seems. Because this little plastic arm that's sticking out here, let's see, there, as you twist the pliers, it actually catches on it. So maybe if we're on top of it and then twist. There we go, that seems to work. Just double check I'm not twisting it in at an angle. Kind of am. Not really a lot I can do at this stage. That's a bit better. Let's force it to the side a bit. This is probably going to be the, hopefully this is the slowest and most laborious part of this entire process tonight on stream. Knowing my luck it won't be, but man can dream. Twist a bit more. Okay, it's probably going to scuff up the sides. Trick is to get it down far enough that you can rotate it, but not too far that you end up hitting the plastic. I guess it really highlights, well, reinforces what I've said a couple of times about this. It's like there's some really, really, really nice parts, but there's some parts that really seem like they were just designed in CAD without any experience about how it would actually work in real life. Or maybe the trick is to go from the top. Maybe I'm just stupid. Okay, so it twists off, but it does seem like you can do it that way. So do it like that. And I don't know if I like that. It'll be useful for adjustment, but I think for the bulk of it, I'm just going to try and get as much leverage on it as possible. Nearly there. So it's like, I was going to say you plan these streams, but to be honest I don't plan them. I just switch the camera on and see what happens. As you can tell by my preparation when the stream started, but it's things like this where you think it's going to be really quick and simple, and you've checked the instructions the night before, and you get into it and realize it's the most silly little POS ever. Alright, that's flat. And interestingly, that pin is almost flush with the plastic there. That's a nice touch. I mean, as I said, I've been happy with the plastics. I've been really happy with the plastics now that I think about it. So they're definitely doing some things well. Like if these guys took over Atomic's manufacturing process and used their plastics instead, that would be a very, very crazy combination. Actually, speaking of other companies, it's interesting. Next Racing, or is it Nex, N-E-X-X Racing, have a really nice front suspension kit for the MR03. I do actually have one. And I've been trying to work out what I install it to, because I'm trying to keep a stock VE Pro MR03. And then I've got a modded one, but that modded one already has an all-right suspension system, front suspension system. So I'm still tempted to swap it over. The engineering on that is exceptional. And the CNC, oh, next level. Really happy with Nex Racing's products. Pricey, but wow, you do get what you paid for. Whether or not you want to be paying that much is probably the more interesting question. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be... It's not going to give you an extra second on the track. That's for sure. And if you're racing Mini Z competitively, for money, please let me know about that, because I didn't think that was actually possible. But that would be where it makes a lot of sense. This one doesn't want to really go in nearly as easily. It's not really catching on the plastic. Let's twist it off. Maybe I just have to twist this one in by hand. Fortunately, this doesn't make for great viewing, which is just me struggling on air. Unless that's your thing, in which case, more power to you. I'm glad I could keep you entertained. And I'm hoping it's entertainment. And not something else. These build streams are actually pretty difficult to keep interesting. I like to think I've done a good job of it. But I've watched some other people do it. And it's not nearly as interesting. I think this is probably something that if you're experiencing live would probably be a lot more interesting, but watching on YouTube, I normally do fire it up in the background, but I don't normally pay active attention to it. So most people just have it, when they upload to YouTube, they'll just have it in fast forward. I guess so it's a bit more relatable. Wait a minute, how did this get 1 like already? Yeah. I'm sure it's someone I know. Quickly flick the stream on, then turned it back off. This is just not going in. Okay, we're going to try my old trick and clean up the inside. Just make it beveled. Bit of plastic on the table is always good. No model kit survives contact with the modeler. In fact, what I could probably do is put a wheel nut on here, and that would make things a lot easier. Now, I do have a set of Sentinel wheels. I'm very much looking forward to running on this. So, I was eyeballing them earlier. I currently have them on my MR03, but to be honest, with my stock MR03, I'm more interested in plastic wheels rather than metal ones. Drifting, however, is an entirely different matter. Much more about bling. Weight's not nearly as much of an issue. I wonder if this is one of these cases where I probably want to heat up something, you know, like the plastic pin or something, or the plastic itself. It just does not want to go in at all. trick when that happens normally is to try rotating the piece you're screwing into and applying force downwards like I'm doing here. All I need for it to really do is catch, and that's what it's not doing. It's not biting into the plastic at all. So I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, I'm definitely screwing into the right side. Or the left side, depending on your perspective. Bad jokes aside, not having a lot of luck. Or that, you know, that was feeling good, and then I backed off and it popped out. Can like feel it cutting into the plastic, and then just drop the pressure a bit, and plastic pushed back. I'm more interested to see how the wheelbase adjustment stuff works, because I've had some inquiries about how the GLD adjustable wheelbase stuff works, and I went out and said I think it works the same as this. And if it is, then when we do the wheelbase adjustment for the GLD next week, it will be significantly easier to put together. The reason I skipped it when I was doing the rest of the GLD mods was specifically because I took one look at it and didn't know how to do it, and also didn't want to commit that much time to it. So I did all the other mods bar the actual chassis. But next week we'll be picking that up by request. Yeah, this is just not... I had it biting for a sec and then nothing. In fact, let me think this through. One thing is I'm trying to actually go into the wrong side there. So there's that. Let's line that up. There we go. Apply down force and do that at the same time. Oh, actually, maybe... let me think. Yes, okay. Bet you I know what it is. I bet you it screws on the other way. That's why it's not cutting into the plastic. So let's line it up like that, as best we can. And I'll show it to the camera in a sec, so just bear with me. Just need to get all the pieces aligned. So now let's twist that. Make sure it catches on the plastic, push it down like that. And let's spin the other way. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to try that by hand now and see if that fixes it. I think I was just rotating it the wrong way. Which means I've probably cut and compressed the plastic, and it's not going to be, yeah, it doesn't really want to go in now. So it's definitely the right way. It just does not, it's not going to be nearly as easy as it was before, I think. Okay, let's just cheat. So I've got a couple of options. One is to, and what I'm doing is just reaming the hole out slightly, just to have it start to cut into the plastic later. God, maybe we'll spend the entire hour just on this one step. I mean, we're at, we're at 24 minutes, wow. Time flies. Maybe I do need to go off and edit these after the fact. It's just so time consuming. Yeah, I really think I've screwed the plastic there. What can we do? There are a couple of tricks we can do. This is definitely one of them. It's a bit of an extreme measure, but sometimes that's what's called for. So basically, just clean up the inside by running a... Yeah, okay, I can feel it. It's got a slight... So if I twist that, it just screws out. And that's because it's catching something on the plastic. So if I just... Maybe I'll just do it with this. I just need to clean that up and hopefully I can then screw it all in. Or I've just completely screwed up the knuckle. One of those two. In which case, I'll have to order some new parts. And I have to be very careful. Not only have I broken one of the pieces, as you may have seen if you had eagle eyes earlier, but I ended up stabbing myself with one of these. And that was particularly nasty. Okay, so that now comes out. So for those watching, you can see one of those is shorter than the other. Great kit otherwise. This is just from Yeah Racing. I picked it up off RC Mart. Used it a couple of times. I'm going to need to use it on the rally truck as well, which is slightly delayed at the moment. Not due to parts or anything, it's just working on other projects which I thought were going to be quick and have taken a bit more time than I wanted them to. But that's all right, I didn't actually expect the rally truck to be done before the end of the year, so... Get that to help twist it around. And let's try the other way. Oh, man. Can't even get the amount of force down I need. This is another really bad design. I mean, anytime you have to put the front steering pins, or the front pins for the front wheels on a rear-wheel drive car on a Mini Z, it's normally always very troublesome. Actually, let's get my good my good tweezers. And actually, before I do that, I need to see which way the thread goes. Yeah, so I need to rotate it that way. Nope. I mean, if I do this for another 10 minutes, I'm just going to end the stream and do it off stream. It's just not worth wasting everyone's time on this. Well, that sounds promising. Okay, so threats might be it, but I'm not going to call it yet. It's going in at least. So if you can pay someone to do this step for you, definitely do it. It's going to be money well spent. Let someone else get frustrated at it. And if you want the full experience, still pay them, but watch my stream and just be frustrated at the stream. Okay, that's, yeah. There are just so many things you have to get lined up perfectly for this to work. It's just silly. Okay, how far are we? We're about 3 pieces of paper from it being flat. It's just getting very, very difficult to catch it on either side at the moment so we can twist it. Okay. Nearly there. So it's funny, I'm watching the amount of people that jump on this stream. Playbacks keep on going up. I don't see anyone hanging around for any amount of time. I'm not surprised at the moment, given that I've just been trying to screw a bolt on for nearly 30 minutes straight now. Like, how many blitzes does it take to screw in a light bulb? I don't know, we're still trying to work that out. So that should twist a tiny bit more. And that's in. Okay, that's in. Now let's just check, eyeball that. They're probably not dead straight, but I'm a bit beyond it, and at this point you can't fix it anyway. Cool. Hopefully this part won't be nearly as horrible. Oh, I don't even know which pieces it wants here. It's going to be those ball heads. And I did see those other end pieces at once. Just going to find which plastic sprue they're attached to. Actually, I need to pull that out. That's notched, so I need that. Oh, hopefully I'm not missing a part. That'd be really irritating. I just noticed that there's only one pin here which I need, so that's a bad sign. Oh, that's the part there. Okay, cool. Yes. So let's break that off. One of those. One of those. Dig into all my little bags and make sure I have what I need. Oh, actually, maybe these are... Yep, okay. I'll just use these ones instead. Okay, so we don't need much in the way of additional parts here, which is good. Get those 2 pins out. Now, from memory, these had a notch for a hex bit in the end. Yes, they do. And with any luck, we have the right piece here. No. Is it this one? No. So definitely not the easiest kit to build for. I'm in 2 minds about if I'd recommend this to a beginner. I think my answer is probably not. But there may be circumstances, like if you want a 1/24th, where maybe the answer is yes. That fits, but that's the wrong piece. I think that probably the best way to sum up this stream is like, watch me get frustrated on air. Look, and there's another playback. Ah. Average watch time keeps on going down. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but I do find it kind of funny. I mean, if I was a proper streamer, I would probably be finding that very, very horrific. But I'm just doing this for fun. Yeah, we'll just go with that one then. It's this one, wasn't it? Okay, so let's twist this in. In fact, how do I want to do this? I might even do these long pin, these headpieces first. A lot of delicate, delicate finger work on this, which I'm not particularly a fan of. Although it's going a lot easier than I thought, so that's good. So maybe we'll finish up the front setup, front suspension setup, which will be good. Can get that all screwed in and done. Actually, I'm just going to grip the outside on that. That'll be easier. Yeah, that's working much better. So they don't actually mention how long that piece should be, which is interesting. Yes, they do. Okay, 16.1. I can deal with that. Which way is the thread going on that? It's cut that way, so rotate it like that. Feel that cutting in, which is good. A couple more twists, and then we'll do. And then it popped out. Once I've got that in place, I'll measure it, and then I should know how much I need to adjust it by. So once it's threaded in, then you don't have to apply force to make it cut in further or just stay on. So that's why I like to do that. So we want 1.6. 1.6. So we're nearly there. Just another rotation or two. I'm just going to quickly cut off the sprue off the end because it is affecting the results. Okay, so I was afraid of that, and I thought I backed off enough, but look what I just did then. I cut through the end piece there. Such is life. Hopefully I don't need all of these plastic bits, because if I do, I am somewhat screwed. It looks like there may possibly be one or two left over. And I will sleep better tonight if that is actually the case. And that one's slightly better. Better be careful this time. And I wasn't careful, but I did what I needed to. Yep, that's good. There we go. So as you see, I've got two, one on either side here. I'm hoping those ones are spare. Given how they've approached parts so far, I don't think that is actually the case. So fingers crossed. Otherwise, I don't know what I'll do. Luckily, it's out of all the pieces I'd have to replace, that's probably the easiest and likely something I've already got on hand. But it doesn't fill me with joy. I think I'll grip that with these, because that seems to be working pretty well. go. Oh, maybe try the other way. Yeah, that seems to be good. I don't ever memorize which way I'm supposed to rotate parts. I just feel when it's cutting in and then go, yep, that's the way it should be happening. Probably not the best way to do it, but it's worked pretty well so far. There we go. So if anyone actually noticed, I was turning the other way when I started, realized it wasn't cutting in, and very, very quickly turned to the other direction. Cool. So that wasn't twisting under a very, very light amount of torque, so that means it was all the way in. It's very easy to overscrew these eye parts and end up going all the way through. Seems like it's been a bit harder to do with these parts, but I have done it with the GL Racing ones, or the Atomic ones, I can't remember. I think it might have been the GL Racing ones. Just have to back off when you meet some force. It's too tight. Is it actually 1.6? Yes, it is. So one trick, if you ever do a metalworking course or something, you'll see that there's these gripper things with like a little pin at the top and two metal pieces that slide in and out. The idea is you pull it out to the appropriate length and you just drop it over the top. And if it slides easily, it's too small. If it catches and doesn't go and stops, it's too wide. And you want to find the right balance to where it just touches and slides through. That's sort of what I was emulating with that. I just set it at a predefined range and just pass it through, and when it doesn't pass through, I know I'm at about the point I want to be. Okay, so let's do that. This is going to be fun. I can't see a good way of doing this, so definitely want to squeeze it, but I don't want to necessarily do it with my fingers because it's a bit tight here. In the same breath, I don't want to do it while it's laying on the table because it's just not enough room to maneuver everything. So I have to work out how to hold the chassis and hold the part, all the while setting myself up to squeeze with the pliers. Actually, I know how I'll do it. If I go like that, and then I might even be able to do it on camera. So we lever it over the top. Have to be careful that I don't catch any other parts. There we go. It's a bit tight, but as I move it, it's actually loosening up a bit, which is good. Okay, cool. Of course, as per standard build guidelines, you probably want to make that looser. I'm sort of willing to accept lower quality because I can adjust it slightly later with some tricks and because I'll be using a very powerful servo. And this arm worked a lot better. Okay. So let's get these in. You want to go on that side. No. You want to go on that side, yes. So the way I normally do these is try and do the top and the bottom simultaneously. No real reason other than satisfaction. In fact, that's a lot of... Is it camber or caster? Can't remember. I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. The wheels tilt inwards at the top a lot. I'm going to need that. Okay, that's good. Once again, they could probably be a bit looser. So can you see it on the table? Maybe I tilt it a bit more. It's a bit hard, but if we line up, you can see there just how much tilt there is in the top there. Don't think it's a problem or anything, I just thought it was interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Bum, 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 bum. And I'll come back later and fix this up and polish everything, but for the moment, let's just try and get this up and running. And then I'll tackle the issues as I feel fit. I've got a feeling not all of these issues need to actually be fixed, so only a subset of them. And for me, a lot of this is about the building experience, more so than the actual driving. I enjoy building these things. I very much got into the hobby for the driving, but driving's actually a bit more difficult in terms of content creation, or different, I should say. Cool. Now, let's see if we can move those pins out there. And we do that, and we go over the top like that. At least when there's a bit of resistance, it does make clipping these together very, very simple. Okay. Ah, more playbacks. Oh man. It's actually weird that it says playbacks. I've long suspected that the live stuff is not promoted in the same way on YouTube as the non-live stuff. Either that or my content's becoming less popular, which is also a distinct possibility. And one I'm actually okay with, but I would definitely like to rule out the fact... I would like to rule out YouTube promoting the live stuff as a possibility. So I'll probably be doing some Twitch streams and then re-exporting it later just to confirm that. So let's have a look at that. So that front end is definitely too tight. There's a whole lot of issues all over the place, but we know it works. And I'm kind of happy with this steering geometry. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, as I say, that's actually loosening up as I play with it, so... But it's still going to need some work. And suspension vertical travel up and down is not ideal, but not bad either. Okay, next step. In fact, I just want to double check to see if we use these ball heads anywhere else. No. We do. I do have one spare though. Yes, I do. I don't think I've... Yeah, I must have one of those as well. Any more ball heads? No, so I think I'm fine. I think we actually did have a small ball head, so... Let's do some springs. So just grabbing some oils. Man, I had them sitting right there. This is a problem with cleaning up my desk, is that I can't find anything after I've done that. We'll worry about that later. because it's essential to be making progress, I think. Okay. Put that over there, along with that. And we want that. Here's one I broke earlier. So there should also be another part to those. Oh, they're on the ends. That's right. So it means I've got another one laying around somewhere. Correction, I hope I've got one laying around somewhere. No, check the part sprues again then. No. Oh no, I've got all the parts there. Silly me. So we need some springs. And we need some plastic bits, which is why I took this one out earlier. And in fact, there's that extra plastic bit there, so that's a good sign. So we're coming up to 15 minutes, so I might actually end up on the hour mark if I'm very, very good with my timing. And spoilers, I don't think I am. So we're going to thread the shock bodies first. Then we're going to apply some grease, which I can look for at the same time. Oh, they're right there. It's like I knew I was looking right at them earlier. So we're going to grab some 2500 weight and just match the rear. I don't know if I need more or less, but 2500 weight is sort of my go-to. Although I put it on the Kyosho Mini Z 4x4, it turns out it's actually too light for that application. Which is annoying because the way those shocks are designed, it's actually really hard to swap them over to 3500 weight. So we'll see what I do there. I may just have to scrape everything out. Now I need a tissue, which I've just run out, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, let's clean off the excess oil after we've run it in a few times. Good. 2 likes. Wow. I find that really, really weird, especially with how my videos have been going lately. Oh, hey, M1 Demolition. You are. Sorry, I didn't even notice the comments because I'm so used to people not talking on this stream. And then when they do, it's always a surprise. Yeah, we're building shocks today. I'm really hoping to have this built today. It's been... For something I thought was going to be built in like 3 hours, I'm actually surprised at how many days it's taken me to complete this. Mainly just due to personal things getting in the way. Okay, those shocks are very stiff. And did I just put it on directly? Yes, I did put the cap on that because I put my hand in the grease last time, and that was a horrible mistake. Okay, so let's start. This one's going to be a bit harder to pop on, I think. So I could start with the top. In fact, I might, because the grease should hold everything in place. So by starting at the top, I can use the pliers. It's all tricky, isn't it? So once again, it's one of those things where I need to work out how to do it with one hand, or 2 hands. push that down, that's good. And then on this side as well, a bit harder to see on camera. I really need a iCam for this so you can see exactly what I'm saying. Okay. There we go. Well, that's nice for once I can actually just push it on. So this is going to be difficult as well, so I'm going to use the pliers. You may even want to wrap masking tape around the pliers if you're worried about marking any of this. I have used that to great effect in the past. I don't really care, so I'm kind of happy to do it this way. There we go. And if we go around like that and squeeze on. Okay, front suspension setup done. So it looks like I need a bit of preload. Which way do I have to rotate it that way? So I'm just rotating it till I feel resistance, so it means the shocks are positively engaging. Now these springs are actually quite tough, which is why I wasn't too worried about the resistance vertically. I mean, look at that, they're barely preloaded and they're coming back down with authority. So very happy with that. Extremely happy with that. Okay, so hopefully that's the front done because I never want to have to deal with the front again. Servo. Let's open my servo drawer and pick a servo. No. Perhaps that. No, that doesn't have an end on it. Yeah, that should do. And let's just compare it to their servo. So they actually do provide a servo, which is super nice. They also provide a gyro, which is nice, but not necessarily required. So the BM Racing servo does look pretty high quality, but I'm a bit strict when it comes to which servos I use. So dimensionally, they're all the same dimensions. I've tended to find that nearly every servo is identical in dimensions to this one, which is why I keep on buying these. They just seem to fit on everything Mini Z scale, and roughly around that size as well. Okay, so what parts do we need for you? We need those things, I couldn't work out what they were. Those big plastic blocks. So they have two holes either side, which go up and down, and then there's an off-center hole there. And I'm assuming it's off-center so you can go up and down and space the servo differently, depending on your requirements. We're going to need that M1 screw, which is around here somewhere. Here it is in here. And in fact, I think we might start off by screwing that in. So let's just put that back in here. And this actually forms, I might actually make that entire part up. This actually forms the steering arm. Now I'm pretty dehydrated, so if you can't understand me or whatnot, that's probably why. I've been drinking water all afternoon and can just not get hydrated. Making careful not to cut the top of that off. Oh, it feels so good to be on the final stretch. You have no idea. It's nice when these things go well, but I've found when it comes to building these smaller cars, it's more about massive failures and then coping with them. So let's twist that on. That goes straight on. God, I love these plastics. Makes things so simple. So this one has to be 23 centimeters, so that's interesting. I'm not going to screw that one in nearly as much then. Do that. Screw like that. Because this one's off center, it's a bit harder. Come on, hands, work. Like telling my hands, rotate this piece, and they're just not moving. That will happen to you when your sodium levels are low. As anyone with a salt deficiency will tell you, bad cramps, hands not moving nearly how you expect them to. So let's move this to 23 mil. 1, 2, 3. How can that be 23 mil in total? That doesn't make sense. Even if I spaced it, that's not going to... There is no way that can be 23 mil. Well, considering that's an arm, I'll just fabricate something as required. That's no biggie, honestly. We could do that. Let's do that part next then. So we need the golden nuts. I'm trying not to laugh on that one. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. All I want to do is laugh at the moment. There we go. It's what we call deadpan humor. I have to explain myself sometimes because I have to remind myself that not everyone gets my humor, and my humor comes from a very, very dark place. In fact, I was having a long conversation with a nice guy about it today. That goes up there. One. This is at least this is better than the rear end, but the idea that I have to cap everything on the bottom and then do something on the top is kind of silly. Logo goes up. Yep. I'll do that and slide it on. Now, at least these are hex heads, so I can likely use the Mini-Z drivers to screw these on. In fact, let me find one. Yep, as you can see there, it's holding it on. Don't know if I'd recommend this, but what's going on? Just basically want to tighten it so that I can lift it without everything falling apart. And I'll be honest, I've got no idea how I lifted those screws. It was just like magic. So if I do... Yeah, now I'm not going to be able to do it on camera. It's fine. The magic of post-processing, which I don't do. Do that, tighten that one up, tighten up the other one. Now you are hex pieces, so let's see if I can find the right piece for you. There we go. Twist over, cap on top, tighten, yep, that's good. I do like the aggressive like claws or mandible look at the front with this on. That's kind of cool, and I think going for gold rather than silver sort of just highlights everything. So there's that real, I guess it looks like a rhino beetle or something like that at the front. It's like such a totally unnecessarily aggressive thing at the front there, but kind of nice. Especially considering how clean the rest of it is. It really does look a bit like a rhinoceros beetle. Enunciate my words there, or something like that. I'm not going to lie to anyone, I think I might have a slight case of heat stroke, but I'll know more by the end of this stream. Okay, so I want to go on the bottom. So I need the motor pinion, and I need the bearing. Bearing goes in there, and the pinion goes on the end there. Yeah, I can do that. Now the ball goes there, and we want the RH2s. Which is good because I've only got 2 of them left. So it looks like they give you exactly as many screws as you need. So my recommendation would be, I could be annoying and say don't lose any, or I could say just get yourself a magnet and put all your screws on that magnet, preferably a white magnet. That's no good telling you what you should and shouldn't do, and what you should and should not do. It's much better to tell you how you can avoid having issues. Okay, and then that, not really interesting, but that's just screwing in. And I mean, given that we know that this servo is the same size, I'm not surprised that it sits flat on the bottom there. And make it tight and then back it out half a turn, because I am going to have to adjust. Oh, I'm not going to be able to adjust it once it's screwed in because it's all blind. That is, I don't know if that's a good or a bad design, honestly. Well, I can't say it's a good design. All right versus bad design. Yeah, I could go with all right, but I'm not going to call it a good design. Screw that in. So we're at an hour and 10 minutes, and I better be seeing some progress towards the end, otherwise there is going to be another one that's probably going to be 15 minutes, but I'm kind of at my limits at the moment. It's been a long day. Goes on there. Bearing goes in there. Actually, let's check, because I want to see if I call it now. So this gear stuff over the top is semi-complicated, as well as a body post. So I'm going to call it there. Thanks for joining me. There will be another stream, not tomorrow, but maybe on Sunday, or possibly Monday. It is more likely to be the Sunday, because Monday I have parts arriving for the bike and I just want to focus on building my bike so I can ride it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the build so far. This is a nice model, providing you know what you're doing. There will be a full review later. Thanks for joining me. Keep on building. 1, 2, 3.